0912-267-7989. The Morning Discourse, Mondays from 9 a.m. Exclusive to Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri.
A wonderful morning to you out there, and of course, welcome to Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. My name, of course, remains Eustace Owerri, or you can simply call me Mr. E. This morning, we have some gentlemen from the Opposition People's Democratic Party seated right here in the studio, and we shall be looking at something that pertains to the 2011 2023 November 11 Imoguba election. So about that, and you would get to know the nitty-gritty of the topic by the time I unveil the gentleman right here in the studio. Remember, in no distant time, I'll be bringing you in for you to be part of this discourse this morning, to ventilate and, of course, let us know your view on the issue this morning. You're welcome. All right, people. Still Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. And this morning, I have with me right here in the studio, Ambassador Chief Chuks Ajelu, JP, who is, of course, a two-time chairmanship aspirant of the People's Democratic Party, Imo State, in 2016 and 2020. He's also the director of the Atiku Okowa campaign organization right here in Imo State, as well as the deputy director, Sam Jones Organization Volunteer Groups. Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. E, for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you, Chief Chuks Ajelu. And of course, I also have right here in the studio the exchequer of the People's Democratic Party right here in Imo State. I'm talking about Barrister Bid Ojimado, who is the State Financial Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Imo State. Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you, Eustace. Welcome, Imolites.
All right. And of course, this morning we are going to look at what I may call equity and justice in governance. Equity and justice in governance. But before we go into the matter proper, I want to ask you, Barrister Bid Ojimado, you are a legal practitioner, and I want to ask, what role does equity and justice play in governance, in the actual sense of it?
Thank you, Mr. Eustace. In the context of our discourse, equity and justice tries to ensure that all segments, components, peoples of a particular state or Nigeria in general are involved in their governance. It tries to stop domination of a particular segment by another. It tries to ensure participation or fair participation of every segment of the state of Imo State in their governance. In simple language, equity and justice in Imo governance is what is known as Enyendebe, Ogbuala. When you look at it from the angle of constitutionality,
okay,
what comes to mind at the federal level is what we call federal character, and which is the policy behind the establishment of the Federal Character Commission. If you look at that section, is in simple language, it all goes to say, look, no section of this country is allowed to dominate the others in the governance of the country. So the justice which equity comes to ensure in the administration or political governance of Imo State is to make sure that no section of Imo State assumes the prerogative to produce the governor or the leadership of the state, always in the sense that others start feeling as if they are second-class citizens of the state. So I'm sure that had it been that we have a true federal system, Imo would have had the equivalent of what we call Federal Character Commission.
Okay.
And also, that is why if you look at all the political parties in their constitution, they will give you what they call power sharing formula. When the national chairman is from here, the state chairman is from there, when the governor is from there, this is from there. And this is what has ensured also that currently, even though those of us from the southeast would have wished that the president come from the east or from the south, but then that is why we have somebody from the southwest today following the end of the term of President Buhari. So in Imo State, we don't live in denial of the fact that Imo is divided along 3 zonal lines, Owerri, Okigwe, and Olo.
Exactly.
The equity and justice in governance, like I said in the context of this discourse, says if Olo has taken and taken and taken, that time comes, and that time is now, when it should give way for another zone to produce the governor of Imo State. Thank you, Mr. Eustace.
All right, thank you, Barrister B. Dojimado, for that. I would call it, well, intro. I may even call it your initial stance, because it's also part of the discourse we are having this morning. All right, let me come to you, Ambassador Chief Chooks Ajelu. JP, I want to ask you, what exactly make some people not to respect certain established norms and laws, especially as it has to do with equity and justice. Naturally, most people renege on certain laws and agreements, on gentlemen agreements and all that. Why does that happen?
Well, thank you. You see, we are all political animals individually. And like you said, the ability for us to respect agreements are based down on individuality. But as a party, as a member of the People's Democratic Party, that we run a systems political party, and is enshrined in our Constitution. Chapter 1, Sub 3 says in our logo, in our motto, that we shall be aware of justice, unity, and progress. So, we enshrine it in our Constitution to be able to run away from these fears that you are alleging, that things must be done in a justifiable means. If you have brothers and sisters under the umbrella, that we contest for primaries, because at the end of the day, political party is the vehicle that drives that democratic process. And then what you have is those who want to jostle for positions internally and externally to represent the party in elections. It must be a justifiable process. That primaries or that selection method must be a justifiable one, so that all concerned will be at ease with the process. And then the second arm of that motto says unity. After us doing a justifiable process, we are unified on the second arm of our motto to be able to now either go for elections, go for external election against other political parties.
Okay.
You see that everybody is carried along. When the process is right, justice is fair play, then you and I have no qualms to be able to say, okay, Eustace, you're beating me fair and square. I join hands. That's the unity in the second arm. And then what are we going to do? We make progress. Progress is winning an election against all odds. So the issue, like it pertains to Imo, is one that has come to the fore at this point in time. And from what my brother said, if you look at the spread of power sharing in Imo State in terms of governorship, knowing that Imo is sitting on a tripod, Olo, Okigwe, and Owerri. Then you cast your mind back to this dispensation of democratic process from 1999 to 2007. His Excellency Dr. Achiko Denwa was the governor of the state. He did an 8-year tenure. Then after that, in 2007 to 2011, His Excellency Dr. Ikedo Hakim did a 4-year tenure from Okigwe zone. Achike is from Olu, that you know. Then in 2011 to 2019, His Excellency Chief Dr. Sir Rochas Okorocha did 8 years again from Olu. And now, in 2019, Owerri had a taste of 8 months under the leadership of His Excellency Right Honorable Emeka Ihedioha. And then now you have another governor from Olu in the presence of distinguished Senator Hope Uzodinma, who is completing his 4-year tenure by November 11th.
Yeah,
so
I think it's actually January 2020.
Oh, January
4.
The elections here. Thank you for that correction. So if you look at the breakdown, by that January, Olu must have completed 20 years of governance. Okigwe did 4 years, and then over 8 months. In the eyes of the law, my brother will be able to. It's assumed that Owerri never had that taste of governance. Because if they had, and in the calculation, this administration would have been less 8 months, if you know what I'm saying. So this is predicated on fairness. You know, at the end of the day, Imolites will be able to make a choice, and Owerri in particular, to be able to say, Nka Wonkani, this is ours at this point. So anybody trying to encroach on other, you know, in Rotary, you said the 4-way test. If this is fair, is it fair to all concerned? And having that tripod at the back of our minds, what has happened or what is about to transpire, is it fair to all concerned? So that question is left for Ndimo, especially in the Owerri zone, to be able to answer that question and say, okay. But in the People's Democratic Party, we take all those into cognizance.
All right.
When we are shortlisting our aspirants, or when they screened the aspirants, you know, only people from Owerri zone bought their form, only people from Owerri zone went for screening, and only a candidate from Owerri zone came out tops in the person of distinguished Senator Samuel Nemeka Anyanwu for the November 11th election.
All right, thank you, Ambassador Chief Chuks Sajelu. But I still want to ask, you know, because some time ago, some Imo elders, you know, gathered. Probably they understand the issue bordering on this particular topic we are talking about, equity and justice. And they stated that since the governor has already done or is about completing 1 term, that he should be allowed to do another term. Hopefully, when he's done, then the generality of Imolites would support an Owerri zone candidate. Do you think it's a way of ensuring equity and justice?
Well, I think that would be unfair to Ndimo as a whole and to what we know as fairness. It's like you say adding a wheelchair ramp next to a step at the public library. You can say that aims for equity because you're trying to have all who are going to access the library to be fair. But justice and social justice is the view that everyone deserves to enjoy the same economic, political, and social rights, regardless of race, socio-economic status, or gender or characteristics. So, you know, you question the gathering of these individuals, whether it is for the interest of all concerned. And then you now just to pose it on what is on ground. So if somebody is saying, like 3 of us are in the studio now, and you're taking the shot, after taking the shot, the understanding and gentleman agreement, once you finish, my brother Bid will take over. After Bid, myself, and then it comes back to you. And then while we are here waiting for you to vacate so that Bid will now get in charge, you still sit put. And somebody outside is saying, no, that is fair. Is that just? So at the end of the day, I think that we must be able to tell our people the truth where we stand at all times, instead of shifting the goalposts at the middle of the game.
All right. Thank you very much. And in case you're just joining us, remember it's still Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. And this morning, we are looking at equity and justice in governance. Remember, the voices you've been hearing so far are those of Chief Ambassador Chuks Ajelu JP and Barrister Bid Ojimbado, the PDP financial secretary right here in Imo State. And they've been helping to do justice to the topic we have for you this morning. And I am coming to you now, Barrister Bido Jimado. I want to ask you, because it appears that only the PDP is concerned about this issue of zoning. I'm saying this particularly because the APC had 8 years during the tenure of Chief Rocha Sokorocha, who actually reigned between 2011 and 2019. And back in 2019, or rather, let me say 2020, we also are having Senator Hope Uzodinma, who is about going for another tenure. And his party men are comfortable with that arrangement instead of agitating or asking that an Owerri person be allowed to man or be in the Douglas House. And I want to ask, is it only the PDP that is championing this cause of justice and equity in Imo State?
Thank you, Mr. Eustace. No matter how one looks at it, I want to tell you that the issue of fairness, the issue of implementation of zoning in Imo State transcends beyond political parties. You should take one thing into cognizance. The fact that at times, those whom you hear their voices in politics or in governance are those who are accommodated. They are those who are benefiting. Agreed, PDP appears to be the only political party in Imo conscious of this zoning principle.
Okay.
But I want to assure you that greater number of Imo people are also interested in the zoning arrangement. Many people in the APC, their voices have been so suppressed. Many of them, even when they talk, many people may not listen. And in politics at times it appears that it's a winner takes all affair. When you emerge governor, you now enjoy the singular privilege of producing who is the state chairman of your political party, who is the minister, who is the senator, who is the House of Rep. And normally they say who pays the piper dictates the tune. You don't expect appointees of a sitting governor to start kicking against the personal interest of the governor while on that seat. But I want to tell you that Imo people are ready and prepared to implement zoning because it affects all. We don't want political tension every 4 years or every 8 years. This issue has to be certain. Where will the next governor come from? Imo people want to know, and Imo people know. If we know all this, the issue of competence, he has performed, he has done this, he has done that. Yes, whether he has performed or not. But for you to tell us that because you are performing, that is why you will take your brother's share, or that is why you should take your brother's turn, is an indirect way of telling us that your brother is incompetent or cannot do what you are doing. Today, days are gone when anybody could say there is no competent person in Okigwe or in Owerri zone to take over the reins of governance in Imo State in terms of the office of the governor. So PDP is determined to ensure that this particular fair policy accommodated in the Nigerian Constitution by way of establishment of the federal character. We are now talking about state character. The state character of Imo State, expressed in the tripod Olo, Owerri, and Okigwe zone. PDP is ready to ensure that it is upheld. PDP is calling on Imo people. Don't just sit down and think that we are not affected. If Olo takes these 20 years and is ready to take, let's say, another 30, you might not be a governor if you are from Olo in your own time. But days will come when this governorship office will shift to Owerri, and possibly you may not be around, and your son or your son's aspiration to be the governor will be lost, simply because he will be reminded that in the days of his father, he allowed somebody or a group of people to take 30 years.
Exactly.
So we are saying, if you have taken your turn, give way, let another person take. And anybody that is hiding under the umbrella of Elders Council or this or that, remember, there is no statutory body in Imo called the Elders Council. You ask yourself, who picks the Elders Council? Who nominates them? Who funds the meeting where the adoption took place? Who provided the venue? Who provided the logistics? So ndị Igbo sa na-eji mi ọzọ akpọrọ onye ọzọ meeting. So I want to stop there, but I want to tell you that Imo people and PDP are ready to ensure that the zoning arrangement prevails come November 11.
All right. Equity and justice in governance. That's what we are looking at this morning. In morning, of course, these are morning discourse. Boss Radio 98.9 FM. And remember, in no distant time, you'll be part of the discourse by ventilating on the topic we have for you this morning. And that means I'll be opening up the phone lines in no sooner than later. And so far, I've been hearing the voices of Barrister B. Dojimadu, the PDP Financial Secretary, and that of Chief Ambassador Chuks Ajelu JP, who is, of course, the Deputy Director of the Sam Jones Organization Volunteer Groups. They are, well, very much seated right here in the studio with me. Let me ask you, maybe before we open the phone lines, Chief Chuks Ajelu, I want to ask, because majority of Imolites seem to be dissatisfied with the way things are going. I'm talking about governance and leadership in Imo State. Many of them complain of insecurity, some complain of bad roads, and some other challenges. And I want to ask you, are all these tied to the issue of not keeping to equity and justice?
Well, yeah, you can look at it from both ways. One way is the vision of the government in power, the vision of the man who is leading that vision. And it smacks belief in the face that while we are talking about equity and fairness in government, one of the benefits deriving from so is to be able to now provide those true dividends of democracy for your people, i.e. roads, safety of lives and property, which is the paramount feature of any government, responsible government. And those follow suit. Apart from that, being fair to all that you're governing, you see that all, like you said, the interest ties in that insecurity, bad governance. So the vision of the vision bearer should be one to call to question. If you have an administration that is fair to all, then you can be able to attract that dividends of democracy. One, you have to explain to, you are the lead, explain to the people you are leading that these A, B, C are what I intend to accomplish. Then when you cast your mind back to 2019 when we started the struggle for this government in power, then, you know, one tends to see that most of the time, or what the conclusion aspect of it is that they never campaigned. They never went out to the people to tell the people, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, so that we have that checklist and be able to tick it off at the end, towards the end of your tenure to be able to say, yes, you said you're going to provide this. Yes, you did. You're going to provide this. Yes, you did. So that is lacking in the administration of the current government. But I believe sincerely, not that I'm from the People's Democratic Party, that we are putting forward a candidate and a manifesto to the people that will be able to put all this in check. We have a candidate that we are going around showcasing, a person that is reachable, somebody who has cracked his craft in the political corners of Imo State, rising from a local government chairman, two-time, from there to the House of Assembly. So he has got the executive acumen and capacity, and then translating that to the executive, from the executive to the legislature, and then having performed creditably representing the good people of Ikedu State Constituency, was voted to represent the Owerri zone at the Upper Chamber, the National Assembly, where he discharged those enormous tax creditably. And then he's back, currently the National Secretary of our great party, and then a candidate of the party. So we are selling a candidate to Ndimo that will be able to get on board on day one, go about tackling the tax, the enormity of the tax before the administration. I'm not pitying him, but I believe he has what it takes to be able to discharge that responsibility. So when you tie everything into place, you begin to see that a government must come with a purpose, must come with a vision, and assemble a team. You know, governance is not about you as an individual. It's about your team that you put in place to be able to discharge that responsibility. And I'm sorry to say that this government has failed in the first task constitutionally that they have to protect our lives and our properties.
All right. Thank you very much, Chief Chuks Ajela. But I want to ask you, are you from Owerri Zone?
I'm from Okigwe.
Okay, Okigwe Zone. Because I wanted to ask if probably you are billed, maybe by your party, to succeed a candidate from your own senatorial district after an 8-year tenure. Would you step down, allowing another person from some other zone to do so?
Absolutely. If we have that understanding and the fairness that we are all talking about, the equity that is inside the mix, it suffices to say that once the Owerri zone now continues their term from January 2024, because what is guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic is a 4-year tenure. Your additional 4 years will predicate on what you have provided for the people. The people now will say, we need you. So given that the term that you need as a governor is 4 years first, and then your second term is just an addendum based on what you have done for the people. You don't need to go and shop around for endorsement from KK riders and this. No. It's what you do in governance will be able to determine whether the people will now vote you. So I'm from Okigwe zone. I'm here advocating that fair is fair, that it should be the turn of Owerri zone. And when I come from, where I come from in Okigwe, I come from Ihitu Boma local government. By our DNA, in Ihitu Boma, we have conventionally been practicing fairness and justice. That each time our legislators from Benji Wajimogo, prior to Benji Wajimogo, who is from Ihite, where I come from, did 4 years. Not only that, he was the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. That height of position would have made him to say, I want to go for second term. But he left it for the Obama side aspect to take it. That brought Jonas Okeke into the mix. So, we are selling that equity, or we have sold that equity to Imo, and I believe Imo should buy into it. In Ihitu Boma, when you have a chairman from Ihite, the vice will come from Obama. When you have the party chairman from Obama, the local government will come from Ihite. And that is how we have been managing. And to God's be the glory, is working for us. And I don't see why we shall not borrow that. So if Owerri, by the capacity of the individual that they are producing now, in the person of distinguished Senator Samuel Anyanwu, if he performs, and I know he was going to do that, Okigwe will not be by the side. We will know that the ball will be passed to us at the end of the day, whether it's a 4-year or 8-year tenure. and then we will now do. We will now pass the ball to our brothers in all. But fairness, like we said in governance, is what we are talking about.
All right, thank you very much. And at this point, we have to bring in our listeners to be part of this discourse. And in case you're just joining us, remember it's Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. And this morning, we are looking at equity and justice in governance. I still have Ambassador Chief Chuks Ajelu JP right here in the studio, as well as Barrister Bede Ojimado. They are very much seated right here in the studio with me. And you too can be part of this discourse. Remember, you can join us via our social media handles on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, all at Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. Or you can send in your WhatsApp messages to 0806 999 2999, 0806 999 2999. That's for your WhatsApp messages. For your calls, the numbers are 090 922 29922, 090 922 29922, or 091 226 77989, 091 226 77989. Let's go there. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, my good people in the studio.
Good morning.
And also our guests, Chief Ajelu and others.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name remains Frank. Frankly, always calling from Wolseley out precisely. As I'm speaking this very good morning, my own people, let me tell us, it is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. As I always say, I'm from Oluzon, Idato South precisely. I believe in equity, fairness, and justice as it is. I am calling on my friends, well-wishers, brothers, my fellow youth of Owerri Zone to stand on their ground. Nothing good comes so easy. As it is, God have made a way how it is. Now is your own appropriate time to stand on the seat of governance. And as it is, by divine inspiration, by divine mandate, God have appointed a son for you than no other person than Samuel Anyang Sandadi. Because I always say it's Awonga Chanimu. He's the brighter morning star. You people should, the people of Owerri Zone, I'm speaking boldly, should stand around him and stand on your ground, believe in equity, fairness, and justice. As it is. After now, as I always say it, after now, Owerri Zone, honestly, can forget it. As I always to say it.
All right,
I am speaking it so boldly because Sandadi is a divine project.
Okay, thank
in
you.
Imo State as it stands.
Thank you
So
very
I'm
much.
speaking it. I stand in equity, fairness, and justice. As we always cry with the people of Southeast, talking about how we are being marginalized in the North. I don't want it to repeat itself in our own state. Oh, let the people of Owerri stand on their ground and speak out and claim what belongs to them. Now is the appropriate time. Sandati is the answer. Believe me. It's a divine project. We're in Imo. We know how this is going.
Okay.
Believe me. Let's Owerri produce
I guess
governor
you've
this
actually
time.
made your point. Thank you very much. You've actually made your point. It's important you allow others to do same. Good morning. Oh, sorry, we lost that. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. Eustace, and good morning, our guests in the studio.
Good morning.
My name is Venancio Sukweme Kolelewa, and I'm calling from Speedback. Honestly, I've been listening, and I must have to tell you that indeed, Owerri Zone, as far as governance of Imo State is concerned, has been marginalized over the years. So we do not have to blame outsiders for our travels. We cannot blame Okigwe or Olo for our travels. We have ourselves to blame. Let us introspect and ask ourselves, why is it that each and every other time there's, need to produce governor of Imo State, most prominent Owerri's own sons would rather want to pitch tent with an Okigwe man or an Olu man. It happened that the time Emeki Hedioha was at the verge of becoming the governor. Even after he was, removed from office, most prominent sons of Owerri's own were also celebrating. We do not have to ask outsiders to help us. We must have to help ourselves first. If I may ask, if we are saying there's a charter of equity, there's no how we can talk about charter of equity in Imo State without prominent Imo sons like Chief Emmanuel Iwanya and the rest of them being involved. Just recently at Katol in Owerri, that should be last week, I watched him on live television while the deputy governorship candidate of APC was holding a Thanksgiving ceremony, campaigning for the second tenure of the present governor. And you ask yourselves, if eventually tomorrow the current governor, by all implications it appears is still going back, eventually becomes the governor of Imo State again, who do you have to blame? Do you blame Olo people? Did they put a gun on the head of an Owerri man and say you must vote for an Olo or Kigwe man? I think we need to self-introspect and ask ourselves, where is our problem coming from other than blaming outsiders? Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, Venashus, for your take. All right, let me allow you, Barrister Bido Jimbado, to react to that call, or rather those calls.
Thank you, Mr. Eustace. You see, I thank the last caller. I want him to have a flashback to 1999 when Imo people, Imo elders, unanimously said power must go to Olu zone. They did that not out of foolishness. They did that in realization of the fact that Olu then was the only zone yet to occupy Douglas House. And then we had honest elders who believed in fairness and equity. People like Aidinwaga, Eche Rodem. They said no. Every political party in Imo State must produce their governorship candidate from Olu zone. That was what happened. That was how Olu people were able to become or assume the office of the governor of Imo State. Then, if you had left the situation open, Olu wouldn't have gotten it. If not that Imo people came, agreed, and said, Olu, it is your turn. Today, Olu people who cried then marginalization, who reminded Imo people that Imo is sitting on tripod, like my friend said, who reminded people it was their turn, who said let there be zoning. Today, they are the same people who are saying, no, nothing like zoning, who will after every years.
No, but I don't think Olu people are saying that, because we also have people from Olu who are, of course, on the stance that equity and justice must prevail.
Yes, the point I am trying to make, when it was the turn of Olu in 1999,
okay,
Imo people came and said, Olu, take, it is your turn. And then you saw that over 90% of the people who came out jostling for the governorship of Imo State were all from Olu. In fact, that time witnessed the most keenly contested gubernatorial primaries I have seen in Imo State. When you had Ezekiel Izogudem, when you had Rochas Okorocha, Greg Mbadiwe, who mentioned the name from Olu zone, and the other zones kept away. But unfortunately, after Olu had taken that 8 years, every time it is the turn of any other zone, you see the same people coming up. Let me tell you one thing you must realize. The office of the governor in Imo State and in Nigeria is a very powerful office.
No, I want to hold you before you go. You digress to this point now, because I know that in 2007, for instance, and even 2011, when probably it could be the turn of Okiwe zone or when Okiwe people emerged, I know that some other persons also came from other political parties in Owerri zone as well as Olu zone.
Yes, you see, the point I am making is that, remember I used the word honest elders.
Okay.
In democracy, everybody has the right to contest, even when there is zoning. But it's left for honest elders to tell people, look, this thing you are going for doesn't belong to you. And it is only when those honest elders rise and speak the truth that the youths, that the majority will understand. Today I want to say it. We have lost a good number of those elders. And today what you see is that money is speaking. What you see is that INEC is speaking. And when you evaluate the situation properly, you find out that even in most cases, the votes no longer count. And it's who has contact. If the elders, if political parties today, don't blame Owerri people for coming out in hundreds to run for the governorship of Imo State this time around, because of that belief that it is their turn, because of that belief they have that Olu people will leave it because it is their turn. That is why they are running. So if somebody is claiming what belongs to him, and you who believe in might is right, who believe that money answers every question, uses these instruments to take what belongs to another person, that does not mean that the people from Owerri zone are foolish. That does not mean they are stupid. They are actually clamoring for what belongs to them. Our appeal still goes back to our Olo brothers. Notwithstanding who is running from Olo, let them tell their sons, let them tell their daughters that it is the turn of Owerri people. Those who are running have the constitutional right to run, but the people have the constitutional right to decide and choose. So if Olo people are running, it is the time for Olo youths to rise, for Olu voters to rise and say, no, allow Owerri people to take their turn. And that is the only way Owerri people can get it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. And remember, it's still Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. And we are looking at equity and justice in governance. The numbers to call have still not changed: 090-922-29922 or 091-226-77989. Good morning to you.
Oh, God bless you. My name is Peter. I'm calling from Olo.
All right, Peter, go ahead.
God bless you, my dear brother. This game is giving. My dear brother, this shall to be president. I don't think this man is in a good book of the president. Remember, he worked for Lawal. Don't you know that you have leaders who will go and appeal to him? Let me be a false promise or good promise. How did he succeed when Rotas was there? He reached out. That's how you play this game. Reach out to the president. And you don't even have a level playing ground in Imo State. Nobody will vote for this man, you know. Somebody will have his way. That's the only thing we will do. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I guess probably the PDP Financial Secretary here heard you. I'm talking about Barrister Bede and as well as the Deputy Director of the Sam Jones Volunteer Group. He also heard you, Ambassador Chief Chooks Ajelu JP. All right, we'll continue to take your calls, 090-222-29922 or 091-226-77989. All right, sorry we lost that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my house.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. To support what my brother has been saying.
Please, who are we on to?
I am Nkiruka from Owerri.
All right, Nkiruka, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, Nkiruka.
Yes, from Owerri.
All right.
You know, in this kind of thing that people are talking about, the power belongs for actually, this is the 4 years term. Let Owerri should wait. Let them wait to hope concern complete the term of 8 years. because this is Olusegun time. If Owerri is going to be serious about this, let them come together, let them gather themselves together and set and do meeting against over themselves. So this is what people are talking about. Now, even though Owerri is all of them is APC. All of them is APC. Our Kingway is APC. So we have all those things we are talking about. All of them is APC. This is what we are talking about. Let's complete. Let's vote was complete instead of APC.
All right, thank you, Nkiruka. I think you have the right to your opinion, and that's what you've actually stated. I wouldn't know if Chief Chooks here has something to say to that.
I laugh in Swahili. People said, "Alade mawurundinze." You understand? And one like Beat said, you will not expect an appointee of a government who picks up roles under this administration to say otherwise. I think when you come, on what basis will you allow, on what moral conscience will you now say that is fair for this administration to continue for another 4 years?
All right, she made a point here. She said it's the turn of Olusegun that Owerri zone should wait.
How can it be? I just gave you the breakdown of the spread of governance so far from 1999. How can somebody in their right sense
maybe
be able to
don't you
say,
think he sees the additional 4 years as part of the governor's tenure in office? I think that's one perception most people tend to have in this part of the world, that a governor or a leader must have 8 years in office. Remember, it has been the norm, unlike in the Western climes and some other parts of the world where probably a leader might come for just a single tenure.
No. Like I told you, constitutionally you are entitled to 4 years. It's enshrined in the Constitution that you swore an allegiance to uphold the Constitution is for 4 years. The additional 4 years you have, if you will get it, will predicate on what you have done for the people.
Okay.
In Ikedi or Hakim's case, Ikedi did 4 years.
He wanted to go back, just that he was stopped.
Well, the people said no. You understand? But in doing that, somebody cannot say in good conscience, having known that Olo has done 4 years, 20 years, and then you want to go for additional 4 years to make it 24 years. Another tripod that is sitting on the stability of this state have not even tested for 1 day. You sit down in your reclining chair, probably with a chewing stick in your mouth, gazing at the skies, and you'll be saying to yourself, and that is fair. Let us be able to look. I think, like my brother said, we have lost some good elders. And I think the crop of elders we are now having are not showing us younger ones coming up.
All right. If we have lost some good elders, sorry to cut you short, Chief Chooks Ajelu, if we have actually lost some good elders, can't we have some good youths? But you are going to talk about this after the break. We'll go for break now.
Where there's a boss, there is a law. We've created the law for other stations to abide. The new Boss Radio, 98.9 FM. Radio for the boss mind.
Look, young man, if you bash my car, I will call my husband. Do you know who my husband is?
Madam, what is your problem? You just hit me. You want to kill my family?
Oh my gosh, excuse me, did you just hit my car?
I beg, come out this motor mixture for road. You don't know say fuel cost?
Don't tell me that one. Sure, you tell me say you get change. I beg, don't give me my 100, not pay me with anybody.
Madam, let the conductor breathe. Don't suffocate me.
Okay, I better not delay me. I better give that uniform and the 20 naira me come on for road.
Join us on Boss Road Rants Mondays to Thursdays from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. only on Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri.
A SDP Progress. SDP Progress. Progress SDP. Ụmụnne m ndị ibe m, udo nke Chineke nọ n'ụnụ. Ewetara m unu ozi ọma, ozi ọganihu, ozi udo, ozi mkpata na ndozi akụ na ụba, ozi nchekwa obodo. Aha ozi ahụ bụ Obinna Bright Ekpebelam, nwanne unu nwoke na-azọ ọkwa gọvanọ Imo steeti n'ọnọdụ ndọrọndọrọ Social Democratic Party SDP. Ebe sere ịnyịnya ọcha. Bright nwokorobịa ọdịmma Imo niile na-anụ ọkụ n'obi, nwa maara mkpa ndị Imo ma dịkwa njikere ịrụ ọrụ a ga-eji egbo mkpa ahụ niile. Ụmụnne m, ohere dịrị anyị ugbu a ime ka ala Imo anyị bụrụkwa ebe eji ama ọganihu, udo na nchekwa obodo site n'ịtụnyere SDP Social Democratic Party ebe sere ịnyịnya ọcha, site n'ịtụnyere Obinna Bright Ekpebelam nwokorobịa ama arụ ụzọ maka gọvanọ Imo steeti 2023. Social Democratic Party SDP, ọganihu Imo steeti bụ ebumnobi anyị. SDP Progress. SDP Progress. Progress SDP. Ozi a si n'aka Reposition Imo Agenda, Obi Bright Movement, bịarunu.
My people, I don't observe say some of our youths they use and abuse this hard drug wey they call Colorado. Some of una they call them Colos. This message today na to remind una say this hard drug wey they call Colorado, like mkpụrụ mmiri, e no good at all, and e fit spoil all of una body kpata. Nobody one day useless for life. Make una dey think about the damages wey this hard drugs Colos go cause una body, una family, even for our society. Abeg Imo youths, Imo strongest, make una stop to dey take this hard drug, because all of una get bright future. My name remains Evangelist Mike Ikoku, una big brother.
Till you go do not to retire before your body go expire.
For latest sports news, top-notch analysis, action attraction,
And goes Jacko! Razzle dazzle! Oh, next level! Can you believe?
match day live scores, and human angle gist.
No referee, no linesman in the history of football would disallow that goal. Only the VAR is the controversy.
All on Boss Sports, 7:30 a.m. every weekdays. And Boss Sports Weekend Edition, every Saturdays at 1 p.m. We serve it just the way you like it. Only on Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. Radio for the boss mind.
Our precious mothers of Imo, our beloved mothers and caregivers, the future of this state and the destinies of your children depends on you. Do not sell your vote for money, rice, beans, yam, or even groundnut oil. Selling your votes will affect your children, their dreams, their aspirations, and their future. Together, let us keep their future bright. With each vote you sell the opportunities. Mothers of Imo, do not betray your children. If your children succeed, our state will be a better place. Please do not sell your vote. I remain Evangelist Mike Ikoku, your big brother.
Stop, make you no cry again.
See, nothing makes sense past the aroma and sweet taste of ofaku when they cook well. For Mimi place, when they come to food when they wash hand cook well, we be home away from home. Oya, enter inside our ogbonge well conducive and bubbly spot for Mimi place every Sunday for our ofaku Sunday. This na super special treat where we dey keep for our friends, our loved ones, and our family when love ofaku. Mimi place e locate for beside All Seasons Hotel, plot 5046 All Seasons Avenue, New Owerri. You know say you fit even place your order for ofaku if you dial the number 0803 501 0005. Make I call am again 0803 501 005. Make your Sunday sweet well with our satisfying ofaku. Mimi place. Finger licking.
It's a beautiful day to remember.
Intestine, intestine, automobile, automobile.
Are you tired of stumbling over words and feeling insecure about your pronunciation? We have the solution for you. Join us every Sunday at 5 p.m. for our groundbreaking program, Correct Pronunciation. Unlock the power of words.
Just like you offer to the gods, Owerri listeners have offered other radio stations to us as burnt offerings. Boss Radio, 98.9 FM.
All right, you're welcome back. It's still Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. Remember, we are looking at equity and justice in governance. And so far, I still have in the studio with me Barrister Bid Ojimado and Ambassador Chief Chuks Ajelu, who are helping to do justice to the topic we have for you this morning. And don't forget, you also can be part of this discourse. You can join us live from any part of the world on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as on YouTube, all at Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. You can also send in your ventilations to our WhatsApp number 0806 999 2999. I'll take that again, 0806 999 2999. That's for your WhatsApp message. To call us, the numbers are 090 922 29922 or 091 226 77989. I'll repeat, 090 922 29922 or 091 226 77989. Okay, let's actually come into this segment. I actually have a couple of messages, but I think I would have to take this one coming from Chika, who said at this point of this at this point of Imo State, zoning is not necessary. What we need is who will save Imo from political quagmire it's presently experiencing. That's what Chika is saying, and I want to ask you, Barrister Bid, to react to that before I reopen the phone lines.
Okay, Mr. Eustace, even in zoning, Imo people don't want just any person. Even in the implementation of zoning, even in the adoption of zoning, we don't just want any person.
Okay.
In the guise of it is your turn. We want a competent and credible person who will save Imo from the quagmire it is facing.
All right.
And that is why in PDP, last time I appeared here, I reminded people that for the first time, in search of this credible and competent person who will save Imo people from this quagmire, PDP decided to adopt a consensus approach.
Okay.
To screen all aspirants, to appeal to all aspirants. Over 30 people wanted to buy form. After going through their profiles, PDP set up a committee that went to these individuals. Look at whom you are. Look at whom people say you are. Look at your history we know. After going through that process, only 2 of them was found worthy to buy form, and they bought forms.
Okay.
But still, on his own, His Excellency Honorable Emeki Hedwa said, let my brother go in the interest of peace and unity in the party. So PDP has done the inner work, the housework expected of it, and has given Imo people a man with pedigree, a man that has experience, coming from the executive. He has been in the executive he has been there as the executive head of Ikeduru local government 2 times. Coming from the legislature, he has served as a 2-term member of Imo State House of Assembly and as a senator. What else is Imo people looking for? So the issue of saying zoning is not important at this time, yes, is not the question. The issue is that even in zoning, while Owerri zone is asking that they have their turn, while PDP is saying, let us implement zoning, PDP has selected a credible person. So Imo people should go along with PDP and vote distinguished Senator Samuel Onaimekanyo.
All right, and you believe he's not going to fall short of people's expectations?
Never. Like I will always tell people, even among the aspirants, among the candidates today, with all this his experience he has garnered, with all these positions he has occupied, go and check it. He has no litigation anywhere because of fraud, because of when he was senator, he padded this budget. When he was in the local government, EFCC is investigating him. He has no case from EFCC. He has no case from ICPC. He's not been investigated by the police for one thing or the other. How else do you assess credibility? We have given Imo people the best.
Okay, so we'll go back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Boss Radio.
Good morning. Please move away from your radio set.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's okay now.
All right, go ahead.
Yes. It is said that those
I wish you can still move away from your radio set or you put it off entirely.
Okay. It is said that those who ignore history repeat history. It is a fact that whatever we are suffering concerning the problem of equity today comes from Owerri zone. Owerri zone has not helped Okigwe zone. Go back to the time of Mbakwe. Owerri zone took the university built by Mbakwe from Okigwe zone, took it to their own and left us empty. Owerri zone fabricated lies against an Okigwe son, and he couldn't go for his second term as a governor in Imo State. It was this Owerri zone that handed over this particular governorship office to Olu zone, to Rochas. Now they want it back. When the Olu zone has not even exhausted his second term, because second term now has become compulsory. What they denied Okigwe zone is now what they are looking for. Owerri zone should be able, even now, 99% of Owerri politicians are supporting Olu zone. So how do we figure that? Owerri zone is not losing anything. Right. Every development that has taken place in Imo is taking place in Owerri. They are having everything. Olu and Owerri, they are having everything. Okigwe is left empty-handed. It is Okigwe that is suffering.
All right, so
we will continue to support Owerri people. Let them go. Well, we will support Olu zone. Let them go. Owerri should wait until they rectify their error.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
Can I get your name once again?
My name is Emeka. I'm calling from Isialamban.
All right, Emeka. Thank you very much for your contribution. Maybe I would have to allow you to kind of react to that submission by Emeka.
See, my brother Eustace, you can see that with due respect to Emeka, his comment lacked basic facts. He said the Owerri zone denied the Okigwe zone the right to go for a second term. You remember that Owerri zone is not an individual. I would have loved him to give us the facts. Who in Owerri zone did what? Who in Owerri zone? How come? When Rochas emerged for his first term, believe it or not, it was the decision of Imo people. It was like a volcano which no individual could have stopped. Owerri people, even the few votes, the few local governments, Ikedo Hakem won. That was mostly from Owerri zone.
Okay.
Owerri zone supported him. The local government that changed the outcome of that vote, that was on Haji Ebema. Okay. I remember very well what happened during that time. So it is unfair for somebody to say it was Owerri zone that stopped Ikedo Hakim from going for a second term. That is unfair. Today also, he is telling Imo people 99% of Owerri zone politicians are supporting APC for a second term. You ask ourselves, who is 99% of Owerri zone? From where did he derive his statistics? Sam Dadi, the person who is running, is a politician from Owerri zone. I am also a politician from Owerri zone. I know a good number. My own political leader in Ahia Zumbise local government, where I come from, is supporting Sam Dadi. All politicians in Imo State, in the Owerri zone. I attended the Owerri zonal meeting on Saturday.
Okay.
Where you have people like Engineer Tony Hanacho and others who are from a Owerri zone supporting Samdadi. So from where did he derive his statistics? So he can't come on air to misinform more people. But like I said, the next election is not for Samdadi. The next election is not even for the political parties.
Okay.
It's for us, Imolites, to do what is right because we believe in truth and believe in what is right. Today, what you do wrong today may come to haunt your son or your daughter in the next 30 years.
Exactly.
This point I am making today, I want Igbo people to hold it against me. I want Igbo people to tell my son in the next few years that I said, after 20 years of Olo, it is the time for an Owerri man to be the governor. Let my friends from Olu say I'm wrong. There is nothing more truthful than this.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And to you, Ambassador Chief Chuksajelu, what do you have to say to that?
My submission is in the positive angle of it. Like we all know, like we said and we have reiterated it. Imo is sitting on a tripod, and all should be inculcated in the administration of the state. Now, for Chika from Nkiru from Unkwere to say that Olu should go for 8 years, then that is just and fair to her. Then it's left for her and her conscience. For Chika, who said on the online that zoning is not necessary, then have we in our democratic process been of that advanced nature where you say zoning doesn't matter? We are looking for competence and capacity to deliver the dividends of democracy. If the question is yes, then fair enough. But if we are a growing democracy and that we need all inclusiveness, then I think that the equity is the way to go. That the sharing of power is the best solution to it at the moment. Like he said, we have a federal character. And if we domesticate that and say we have a state character, that entails that all zones must be accommodated in this power sharing. And it brings some development to your people. That sense of belonging that, yes, my brother, my sister is at the helm of affairs will gear you up to be a good citizen. To gear you up to be, let me help my brother or sister who is in government to do her best to deliver that tax before her or he. So, for us, whether you say Owerri is at fault or Owerri is not at fault, that is not the question we are addressing. What we are addressing is fairness and the way forward. I believe in good conscience. The governor of the state he's from Olo, should be able to talk to himself at the wee hours of the morning, maybe a 2 a.m. call to himself and say, is what I'm doing fair? Can't I be the one that will write my name in history that I said, okay, it is the time for other zones to participate in this governance? He holds the ace.
Is that possible, considering
Why not?
The kind of politics we play in this part of the
Why
world?
not? A day, like I said, a minute in politics is like a year in politics. He can wake up today and say, Jonathan at some point said to himself, his ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. And everybody was up in arms and saying, how can Jonathan say that? But the guy stepped away from governance. Nelson Mandela made it and said, even when they are clamoring for Nelson Mandela to continue in office, I've done my bit. Let others contribute to nation building. So what we are saying, or what we are appealing to Ndimo to be able to now, I believe that Ndimo are wiser now, and everybody has availed themselves the opportunity of information at their beck and call. And what we're saying is not out of the moon. It is a basic form of fairness. So I believe that November 11th, Ndimo, I think there is this, yesterday, I came back from Okigwe stakeholders meeting, which the cream de la cream of Okigwe were in discussion on the way forward. And lo and behold, the delegation from Owerri zone came and it's like a barging into our meeting and came arms and begging that we should be able to collaborate and work in harmony to realize this ambition of the Owerri zone. I think we welcome that idea, and we believe going forward that Organiru Ndi Okigwe will be able to reach out to the nooks and crannies of Okigwe and be able to tell them the benefits why we should be able to work with the Owerri zone come November 11th.
All right, thank you very much, Chief Chuk Sajelo, and we'll continue to take more calls. Good morning to you.
Good morning, the presenter in the studio. I will find the girl of the best in the studio.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Honorable Fidel Ahanon. I'm one of our laser of autonomous community. And I'm calling from Triple A House. You know, laser in the How are you doing this morning?
We're okay.
We're fine, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Because as choose, I commend your capacity and your position, especially as it concerns the November 11th election in Imo State. But I want to thank you also for correcting an impression that the Owerri zone was responsible for what is befalling us in the zone from taking on the number one season of Imo State. This is information. But having said that, other people have not been fair, to leveraging on what they have been because of their population. So I think the Imo people have to select those that have the blueprint of Imo State in mind, not just trying to vote people based on political sentiment. They have to come tell us what they have to do for us. Is it feasible? Because most times politicians make some policy statements that are not tenable, and people vote out of sympathy. So I think Ohasin was the only true governor that has the will to perform. But the cabals in Imo State then, threw him out and brought about falsehood that led to his not returning back the second time. But this time I let them come to a debate, and we shall be able to examine he that has the most credible and formidable blueprint for Imo governance. My submission. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Fidel Ahanon. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
For Moses for
all right, Moses, go ahead.
I've been listening attentively. This issue of equity. Equity is spiritual. Equity is give and take. It's good. But the issue of equity is not harmonized in Imo State properly. If there is equity, let there be a legislation on it. So that when the time comes, we are not going to break our head. The people that are talking there, I like the effort. Let them campaign more on equity. But now, if the need to be, let Mr. Uzodinma complete these 4 years through a true legislation. There should be a legislation in the House, pass it in the House. When Mr. Uzodinma are complete before, then Owerri will move over. Then after Owerri, people will move over. This is settle everything peacefully. Because if there is no legislation, my brother, we are just listening about the bush. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Moses, for your take. Good morning.
Good morning, my good people in the studio.
Good morning
I
to
am
you.
still remain Frank. I'm just calling back.
All right, France, you have 10 seconds.
Yes. Okay,
10
sir.
seconds, please.
Yes, even though 5 seconds, let me make a point concerning our people. This forthcoming election, it is not really party. It's like a vehicle, but really, let me tell you, it is for the betterment of Imo State in general. Believe me, the way it is, honestly, we have been in years in Imo here. Several times I used to ask myself, and I come to realize, to replace my mind, that something to be done rightly, in the right way.
All right, thank you.
As I always say, it is right to give away the chance.
For your take, Frank.
And the Owerri have been divided.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Justus Okere.
Good morning to you.
I want to also extend my greetings to my brothers there as your guest.
Thank you.
No, my dear brothers. Because my own contribution is the way the Olu people betrayed that gesture being made by Echerue and then ID Mwanga. And then subsequently...
please, you didn't tell us your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Obin Nugu. I call from Oji.
All right, go ahead, Obin.
Okay. Now, that gesture was made by Echerue and ID Mwanga. Echerue is from Okigwe zone. ID Mwanga is from Mbisi, the Owerri zone. And they said, no, let Olu people took the shot. But being that it made, the Olu people took advantage of that through this Olu Weze and Olu Zurume, because they're going to meeting after meeting. They make a meeting, back. They go and then reschedule themselves and then start to make sure that I don't think they believe that Owerri and the Okigwe zone belongs to them because I take over. Look at it now. Rocha took 8 years. I took with them 8 years. And then Rocha and Hope was them 4 years and then is campaigning for another 4 years. Now that is 24 years. Now, the problem is that the people, the political people in Owerri zone connive with the Olu people, they betray themselves. I am going to have here so much that there are a lot of betrayers from Owerri zone, particularly. Madel Junction and the rest of them, they betrayed the Owerri zone people so much. Look at it now, what is going on now. I am from Inishi Kedru. I regard Sandadi as my own brother because he's my blood brother. He's from Amimo. Now, will they allow him to take over from this now? Because the Owerri zone has now produced a lot of people now from AA, from other political parties now. My fear is that they are going to share this vote now. And then the APC or the will take advantage of that. Like what my brother was saying, that the let those of them wake up and tell us. That I don't think, like what you said, Mr. Eustace, I don't think, my dear brother, that is possible. Because he's very desperate to make sure that he complete that 4 years. And then if this thing happens now, what will be the fate of Owerri and Okigwe zone? It then means that they are going to also take these 24 years so that Oluson will keep quiet for 24 years. That will be what you should ask for, equity. Because even the agency we have here in Imo State are now joining forces with the Ozodema that Ozodema should complete the 4 years. Somebody like Nkiru was saying that it is Owerri but Oluson. You can see the irony of life. That these people doesn't believe that Owerri and Okigwe zone belong as their brothers. It is very disheartening and very pathetic that somebody will be saying that they should keep quiet until because when you go to the street now, these Olu people, they believe that they are the Fulanis of Imo State.
All right,
that is the word they say.
I think you are actually going beyond what you should actually say. That may not be the case. We have a lot of people from Olu who are on the part of justice, on the part of equity, and we also have a lot of supporters from Olu who are pushing that Owerri zone should be given the chance to rule Imo State, even Okigwe zone and all that. So it's not really wise for you to generalize. That may not really be so wonderful. Okay, at this point, we'll go for commercial break. Morning Discourse returns afterwards.
Just like you offer to the gods, Owerri listeners have offered other radio stations to us as burnt offerings. Boss Radio, 98.9 FM.
Joint renew advance. He dey repair joint you. Make joint open again. Joint renew advance. For flexible joint. He dey reduce back pain you. Waist pain, shoulder pain. Hip pain and knee pain. Joint renew advance.
Nature's Field Joint Renew Advance. They take care of arthritis pain. It they remove stiffness and they help joint when swell to reduce for people when get arthritis and sportsmen and women when get joint injury.
It they help people when get joint injury for accidents or sports to manage their injury well. Nature's Field Joint Renew Advanced. No they cause ulcer. Now be say people when get ulcer fit use them.
Nature's Field Joint Renew Advanced. Now for optimum joint health for sportsmen and women, elderly people and people when get joint injury.
Take one tablet every day.
It is available for pharmacies nationwide. Telephone 0807 509 1020 0807 189 1904.
Joint Renew Advanced. Joint Renew Advanced.
Burial announcement. The National Association of Academic Technologists Futo branch regrets to announce the passing on to glory of their member, late Engineer Chief Kirian Magnus Orisakwe. Burial arrangements. Tuesday, 19th of September 2023, service of songs at his residence number 7 God's Grace Estate Federal Housing Extension, Omogoma, adjacent to Mommy's Kitchen. Time 4 p.m. prompt. Friday, 29th of September 2023 at 6:30, body leaves Imo Specialist Hospital Mortuary, Owerri, for his hometown, Nweke Village, Owerri, Nkwaji. 10:30 a.m., funeral mass at St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Parish, Owerri, Nkwaji, Nkwere Local Government Area, Imo State. 12 noon, interment. May his gentle soul rest in peace. Signed, Dr. Mrs. Ugochi N. Daniel, Chairman. Engineer Ebuka Nwago, Chairman Burial Committee, and Engineer Chief Nwachuku I. Nwachuku, Secretary.
I mean, you know, Oraga away problem. And again, you know, Uzonini Agari of
Bafu, Onyaguruji, Oneka Henry.
Mbano, economy I move off, so Yeni and Abunu Aga away problem.
Onye Bragabi, Ogawa Gembo. Oh no, da.
Waza akwa na-azụ atụrụ ime mkpuke.
Onye obi ọjọọ na-eme giveaway.
When the small boys sleep, the boss takes over. Boss Radio, 98.9 FM. Radio for the boss mind.
All right, you're welcome back. It's still Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. Remember, I'm still Eustace Okere, or you can simply call me Mr. E. Chief Ambassador Chuksa Jelu is still right here in the studio. I also have Barrister Bid Ojimadu very much seated here, and we are looking at equity and justice in governance. Remember, it's still Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM, and you still have time to ventilate on the topic this morning. 090-922-29922 or 091-226-77989 are the numbers to call. All right, before we went on that break, I want to come to you right now, Barrister Bido Jimado. Some callers made some kind of comments, which of course I expected reaction from you, but we went on commercial break. And I want to ask, will it be democratic also if equity is enshrined in our law? One of the callers pinpointed that is important. It is it has a kind of legislative backing as a way so that people would respect that and see it as a law. Would that be democratic to do that? Maybe you can also react to some other comments by the callers.
Well, if it is legislated into law,
okay,
it ceases to be an equitable principle because equity appeals to the conscience.
All right.
Equity is an appeal to your conscience. It doesn't need to be in law.
Okay.
There is nothing bad if the 27 members in the House of Assembly say we pass it into law, but then they will be confronting the constitutional provision that preserves the right of every individual to seek for political office.
Okay.
Well, then I have told people, if you look at it in a way, the issue of zoning is already accommodated in our law. You ask yourself, what is the essence of the federal character enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria? What is the essence of establishment of the Federal Character Commission? The essence is to make sure that no section of this country dominates another in political office or in the bureaucracy, civil service, and all that. If we have that, we don't need to look for elsewhere to leverage on to adopt zoning. Already zoning is there already. like I said, in 1999, you find out that some people from Olo, I know the EJ Konyewuchis and others, who were shouting marginalization, marginalization, marginalization for Oluzo. You see, Owerri Zone said, okay, our Imo people said, take, it is their turn. But unfortunately, some people now who are benefiting from the system, let me use that word, no longer want zoning. They are not talking about merit. They are not talking about competence. Okay. There is no law that says if you're elected for 4 years that you must complete 8 years. Like Ambassador Jelu said, the extra 4 years is earned on the basis of performance.
Okay.
But in this, our case of Owerri Zone, where I happen to come from, we are saying, this thing you are holding belongs to us from Owerri Zone. Give it to us. We have competent people. Of course. Nobody can say that Owerri Zone don't have competent people to do that. So the issue is not even issue of zoning. Even in the federal character that is already there. You looked if you have a flashback to the appointment of service chiefs during the Buhari administration, notwithstanding the federal character provision, Buhari denied Southeast any service chief. Buhari didn't look at the take into consideration the federal character in all his appointments. And I will rather by extension say also that APC doesn't respect federal character. Now, so you see that the problem is not the law. The problem is with the individuals who are implementing the law.
Or the party?
Yes. Even if the law is there today, you will see some people will also disobey it and ask you to go to court. And you ask yourself, who are those that will ask you to go to court? It's still the APC. So you don't hold what belongs to me and tell me to go to court. You don't hold what belongs to me and say, pass it into law. When you have taken the benefit without law. Olu took the benefit. When he took the benefit in 1999, was there any law? Why must it get to the turn of Owerri Zone? You now want it to be law before you will allow Owerri Zone. This thing is beyond argument. It's a question of, please, what you have belongs to your brothers. Allow them take it. That's the point I want to make.
All right. And you, Ambassador Chief Sajelu.
And if you cast your mind back to that period, don't forget that late Humphrey Anomodo won the primaries, if you recall.
Yes, PDP
he won the primaries, and he was told by what my brother said, honest elders told him, okay, step down your ambition, in as much as that you won the primaries of the party. Step down, let it go to Olo. And he went to Olo. Now, Obinna, like, in as much as I kind of don't want us to look at this from the violent aspect and calling of names, we are just appealing to the conscience of our people and be able to lay the cards on the table and say, based on this, what is the conclusive understanding you can derive from it, and say, okay, fair is fair. We all want to be treated fairly. There's nothing you do in life that doesn't base its logical from fairness and equity. That let us be able to redress. You wanted to ask me a question before we went on break about the youth. If we don't have the honest elders, how about the honest youth? I believe and I appeal to my youth brothers to be able to, we are now in a digital world, and I think we are not going to be fair to the generation now who we consider the leaders of tomorrow if these kind of things are not being addressed now, so that we don't have a bequeath a society where if you think you're the mightiest, you now take it up. So we are just appealing to the conscience of the leaders of today to be able to practice what is fair, what is just, and what is all fair to all concerned.
All right, and before I take more calls, Barrister Bede, you talked about Owerri Leaders Forum, or I don't know what name you called it, but you also mentioned here sometime that in 1999, Imo elders gathered and unanimously agreed that it was the turn of Olu. So why can't Owerri elders or leaders per se gather and say, this is the town of Owerri and every other zone should keep up? Because I haven't been seeing much of that. The only agitations we are getting is actually coming from the PDP.
Now, the Owerri elders are meeting. They have been sending delegations to Olo, to Okigwe.
Okay.
Discussions are ongoing. I'm sure at the appropriate time, the communique will be out. But what I want to say in that light is this. The issue at hand, while we await the elders to speak up so that the youths will be properly led, we want our youths also to realize that the tomorrow that belongs to them starts today.
Okay.
You might have your card, voter's card, thinking of doing with it what you like, taking 1,000 naira towards zoning. Unknown to you, in the next 20 years, you will be in a position to run for governor. That might be the time Owerri or Okigwe is producing the governor. And they will tell you no. Olu took 24 years. Assuming after the second term, assuming but without considering that Hope gets a second term and Owerri Olu takes 24 years. If it goes to Owerri and Owerri takes 24, it goes to Okigwe takes 24. What you are saying is that after the second term of Okigwe, any Olo man that is of 30 years will forget about being a governor. That is what you are saying, that any Olo man that will be up to even 25 years in the next 4 years should forget being a governor. This is an aspiration which possibly would have come back to him after 16 years.
Or even 8 years.
Or even
because
8 years.
you talked about 4 years tenure.
Yes. So what is there? What have we benefited that will make us say, no, it must be done? From the beginning, you saw what happened, how the governorship was taken out from Owerri zone after 7 months. We know all what happened, but we don't want to comment on that. So please, it's time for Owerri zone to have it.
All right, it's time for Owerri zone to have it. Let's continue to take calls. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, my people.
Good morning.
Really, I am speaking.
All right, when you do call in, it's important you introduce yourself. I've said that severally. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to gentlemen in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning there.
I'm Ozama Bennett O, calling from Owerri.
All right, Ozama, go ahead.
Equity and justice have no space in the Nigerian political terrain. Now that it appears that the Owerri zone's entry into Douglas House is dependent on they are begging their Olo brothers to allow them entry. Entry there will surely be elusive. When I pray for Sandadi to be victorious, the greatest undoing of PDP is to have not allowed Yedoga to come up as their flag bearer.
Right.
The little appearance he showed won the heart of human lives. He's been ousted violently.
All right. I think that's an incorrect expression, Uzoma. Ousted violently. That actually is not what the news say. It's better you get guided properly in case maybe you are not in the know of what actually happened. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, please. My name remains Frank, even though 5 seconds.
All right,
I'm asking a question.
Where actually, sorry about that. I may not allow you to call again because we have a lot of other callers who are trying to get through to us, and you are inconveniencing them, and that's exactly what we are talking about here: justice and equity. And
I think taking your turn. Let others.
Frank has taken his turn.
Yeah, it's important to allow others to do
take
so.
their own turn.
Hello, good morning.
Where are the
All right, sorry. Maybe I think you probably trying to dominate both lines and not allowing others to even have their way. 09092229922 or 09122677989 are still the numbers to call in case you're just joining us. Remember, it's still Morning Discourse right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. And this morning we are looking at equity and justice in governance. And so far, it's been Ambassador Chief Chuks Ajelu JP and Barrister Bid Ojibmadu doing justice to the topic this morning. And if you check, we are actually running out of time, and that's why I may not allow people trying to stage a comeback to do so. When you get through to us, it's important you ventilate properly so that you wouldn't have to stage a comeback to enable others have their way, because we are talking about equity and justice, and we must allow that to prevail even here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, my name is Ike Ajero from Owerri.
All right, Ike, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to appreciate the guys in the studio there. I want to thank them for what they are saying this morning for the equity. I want to appreciate all of them that equity is an important idea in the state, and I want us to maintain the equity. That we cannot continue in that way they are doing it. But let us continue to that equity so that Owerri zone can go, Okigbo zone can follow, and Olu zone can be able to follow again. It's important. So I want to appreciate those who are discussing this equity. Let equity continue come to stay in Imo State. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
All right, thank you very much, Ike, for your contribution. Equity should be allowed to go. Okay, I wanted to take some messages, but the messages I'm having here are actually going off the point we are looking at this morning, and I wouldn't know why some people would just intentionally want to derail from what we are looking at. Okay, maybe I will just take this particular one coming from the Tisha Eka, who is writing us from Ebekuku, probably after this call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Brother.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I am Daniel Chubu from Owerri.
All right, Daniel, go ahead.
My brother, this issue of zoning, we the people, I don't think this zoning of 18 will benefit the masses or the people of Imo State. We have to think of what will benefit us here in Imo State before thinking of zoning. If all this that happens in the last 4 years, how is the next 4 years going to be in the life of the masses here in Imo State? A lot has happened. And somebody is talking of zoning. The people are suffering. There is hardship here in Imo State. There is killings everywhere. There is frustration everywhere. People are dying left and right. So right now, nobody should talk of this zoning. We need capable hands. This particular government is not fair to the masses. Let us tell ourselves the truth. And I am urging the PDP members, even the people that are on the studio there, they have to be serious about what they are telling the people. Unu ga-ebe ahụ jee nọrọ anọ na ọpụta dị achọ ihe agụ ya ọbịadu dị ahụ hụ na mmadụ n'ebe ahụ ihe ahụ o ji ehi agụ arụọla ọwụghị ikwu n'ọnụ unu ga-adị ezigboto njikere bikos ọ bụ ezigbo ọgụ a na-aga ịlụ alụ. So ihe m na-ekwu ugbu a ọ bụrụ ma unu eji ohere a napụta ọchịchị ọjọọ n'aka ndị Imo napụta ndị Imo n'aka ọchịchị ọjọọ na
Okay, mmadụ ga-agwụ agwụ in the next 4 years ihe m ji anya m n'ahụ ya onye unu jisi ike unu ga-anọ na ebe ahụ a na-eri ije elekshọn na unu amara ebe a na-eri ije elekshọn Imo steeti unu jee nọrọ ebe ahụ ọ ya advice nwere egwu unu this morning. Ndewo.
Thank you, very much, Daniel Chukwu, for your take. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Please, I just want to ask a question because we all are talking about marginalization and
Please,
all that.
what's your
Nobody's
name
talking
and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Mr. Ibe. I'm calling from Wedra here.
All right, Mr. Ibe, go ahead.
Please, there's something they have forgotten. They remember that during the last election, Imo House of Assembly election, there was no election. I don't think that they're going to, this time around, the election will count. Who is going to vote? Why the man that they are contesting with is at Abuja doing his way, the way he used to do it? Please, let them tell some that the election now is not by voting. The voting doesn't count. What counts now is how you can be able to maneuver your way from Abuja. Please, I want them to communicate this information to him. If he's voting for voting, the voting will not count here in Imo State. Knowing fully well that an election that passed before the European House of Assembly, that there was no election. They just pick the people they want to pick. Please, let them communicate that matter. Ask somebody now how he's going to go about it.
All right, thank you very much for your take. And of course, that's the much you can take this morning. Yes, the phone lines have been closed, at least for now. We take this message, like I did say. I wanted to read it before that call came in, coming from that Ishan Ikawu, who said that Sir Achiku Denwa and Ikedo Hakinwia of the PDP, they started the share it equal and embezzlement leadership. That's how he put it in quotes. The share it equal and embezzlement leadership, says Sambakwe, distinguished himself by building Imo industries that employed Imolites like newspaper, the palm, Avutu Poultry, Inyishi Extraction Company, Amaraku Power Plant that could supply 24 hours light to all Imo State. But most have been sold and land shared by successive governments. The people support zone when it benefits them. That's according to Datishan Eka. Then you had the last few callers reacting on that, of course, some word of advice for the PDP. So I would allow you now to react to that, of course, and it should serve as your final words to Imolites.
I think from what Uzoma said and Ike Joro and Daniel, and then the last one by Ibe from Wedro, what we're saying is not about the personality thing, it's not about the zonal thing, it's about fairness,
okay,
and what is right. I believe that PDP has produced a candidate. It's not all strategy we are going to come on the radio and be able to make bones about it. But make no mistake about it, the People's Democratic Party are asking Ndimo to come out en masse on November 11th to cast their vote. What happened, you know that this is the first time that a staggered election, that Imo is doing a staggered election. And the normal pairing is governorship and the House of Assembly. And at this point, the House of Assembly were sitting on their own in that election, and they were prone to all these variables. But make no mistake about it, 11th is a serious business. 11th is a business that all Imolites should be concerned about. 11th is a business that if you know your PVC is not with you, there is a window now for you to go and collect your PVC. I think this matter is a matter for every Imolite, most especially those from Owerri zone. I appeal to the Owerri zone to be able to put their house in order and be able to now, it's only when you stand up you'll be counted. I think that the discussion, like my brother said, is ongoing, and soon communiques will be made available. But what we guarantee to our people is go out and vote. We are still law-abiding political party. We don't promote this Ben Johnson way of politics. We go and cast our votes because we know we have the majority of the people on our side. So there's no need for us to hijack and run with it and then dash with it. These are languages for the APC people. But we are telling Ndemo to be able to go out on that Saturday morning, cast their vote, and we'll protect that vote.
All right, thank you very much, Chief Ambassador Chuks Ajelu JP. And to you, Barrister Bido Jimado, your final words.
Thank you, Eustace. Imo people, don't be deceived. Don't say that your vote will not count. We don't want to manufacture votes. We don't manufacture votes. We win with votes. But the difference between this election and the last one is that the man we have produced is capable of defending his vote. Give him the vote, he will defend it. Without your votes, there is little or nothing he can do. He is doing everything to make sure that your votes count, that he protects your vote. And we want to assure you that if you count if you vote, your votes will count, and he will defend it. But let me remind you more people this. Back in the days of Udemwa, under PDP, that was when you will stay in your village and your village will receive a drum of wire for you to electrify your village. That is when you will stay in your community, you will receive transformer. That is when you will stay in your community, your health center will be on. We didn't stop that. During Ikedoha came, during Udemwa, we didn't stop payment of pensions and gratuity. We paid. We want to take Imo back to the good old days. And let me tell you, to make sure that PDP went or goes into this election with victory guaranteed, we didn't want any division. That was why we went for a consensus. Let nobody be deceived. Nobody was upstaged violently. Nobody was stopped from running. Go and check it. The records are there, documented. Nobody was upstaged. Because Imo PDP realized the danger of having a divided house, that is why they started with appeal, stopping or getting over 30 aspirants to say, okay, in the interest of the party. We had over 20 aspirants from Oluzo. Appeals were made to them. They said no, they stopped. Owerri, take your turn. We had some from Okigwe. They said, okay, Owerri, take your turn. At the time, what was left was 2 people from Owerri. One said, in the interest of the party that has given him chance upon chance. Remember, Imo people, that was not his first slot. PDP has given him slot before. 2015. PDP gave him slot in 2019. In 2023, he said, let me give others a chance voluntarily.
Okay. Equity.
PDP. Eh?
All right.
So, and he did that voluntarily. It's on paper. He wrote by himself and signed. So, he's not crying. It is something he did voluntarily. Thank you, Mr. Eustace. Thank you, Imo people. On 11th of November, go and do the right thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Barrister Bid Ojimado, and of course, thank you, our wonderful listeners, my good friend Frank Venashus from Spibat, Peter from Olo, Nkiruka, all the way from
Nkiru, my friend from Unkwele.
Thank you also, Emeka, who got us from Bano, Honorable Fidela Hanano. You appreciated. Moses, my good friend, Obinna Ugu, Osama Bennett, Ike Ajero, Daniel Chuku, and of course, Mr. Ibe, who called us from Wedral. And in most special way, I want to thank you, Barrister Bido Jimado, for coming today on the program. Thank you.
Eustace, for having me.
All right, and in case you do not know, Barrister Bid here is the State Financial Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. And thank you to Ambassador Chief Chuksa Jelu JP for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, Eustace.
All right, and Ambassador here is a two-time chairmanship aspirant of Imo PDP in 2016 and 2020, the director of Tikokowa campaign group right here in Imo State, and of course the deputy director of St. John's Organization Volunteer Group. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming today on the program, and of course our wonderful listeners. Remember, Morning Discourse returns same time, same station next week. My name is Eustace Okere, wishing you a very fruitful week ahead.